Tonight, the Governor of South Australia pays the Mid-North a visit as he looks to connect with regional communities, and why some Broken Hill newsagents are trying to avoid selling yesterday's news today.
This is Southern Cross News with Fraser Goldsworthy.
Good evening. Towns across the Mid-North were lucky to host a very special guest today, the South Australian Governor, the Honourable Hugh van Lai. It's all part of a regional tour aimed at connecting with local industries and community organisations which play a vital role in the state's economy.
Honourable and inspirational. Today the Governor and his wife received a very warm welcome to Jamestown.
As a Governor, I have made the commitment that as much as I can, I would reach out to all corners of our state and to meet with as many people, no matter where they live, so long as they're in South Australia.
As part of that promise, His Excellency visited communities across the Mid-North today, learning more about local industries and community organisations.
It's a fantastic opportunity to support the community. In particular for the fundraising for the renovation and upgrading the Jamestown Hospital.
It was a peaceful morning spent reflecting on the region's war history. A stroll through Diggers Park with local RSL members before laying a wreath at Memorial Gates.
The school, talk to the children, visiting the Diggers Walk and some industrial places as well in the region.
His Excellency enjoyed his time in the Mid-North, saying locals should be more aware of the important role they play in their community.
And I found people extraordinarily friendly and warm. It's a lovely, lovely community.
He's such a lovely gentleman and he fits in so well in all the communities. He's sort of a one of us type person, and no, it's a pleasure to have him here.
It's important to make people feel we are South Australians, no matter where you live.
Rachel Nell, Southern Cross News.
It's been a busy 24 hours for Whyalla Police, with 3 arrested for drink and drug driving offences. Just after 9 a.m. yesterday, a driver from Jamestown allegedly tested positive to cannabis. About an hour later, police stopped a 45-year-old woman from Corn who allegedly blew .110 and tested positive to amphetamines. And a 58-year-old man was arrested after a crash on Newton Street in Whyalla last night. Police were called just after 7:30 and will allege the driver returned a blood alcohol reading of .206. He was reported and also lost his licence for 12 months. He'll face court at a later date. Meantime, police have arrested 2 men in Port Augusta over a breach of dry zone laws. A patrol found the pair with alcohol in a declared zone late last night, upon which both men refused to cooperate with officers and were arrested. Both have been bailed and will face the Port Augusta Magistrates Court at a later date. Broken Hill news agencies say they've been forced to use interstate couriers to make sure they keep their newspapers arriving on time. It comes after a decision by News Corp to send 2 of its papers through Adelaide for a next day delivery.
Yesterday's news today.
If you're going to pick up a paper, you want it on the day it's written.
News Corp said delivery costs are why they are now going through Adelaide to deliver the Melbourne Herald Sun and Sydney's Daily Telegraph.
They're saying our sales aren't viable for same day delivery anymore, which is sad because I'm here to provide a service and, we do it any way we can to please everybody.
The papers will be transported along with the Adelaide Advertiser, which has many worried about receiving day-old papers.
I've been in 16 years. And it's the first time. They tried it once before, the Telegraph did, and due to public backlash, they just backpedalled straight away.
The financial burden of getting the papers to the Silver City has now caught up with the Sun and the Telly, and local news agents have had to band together. Mr Niaros says he is part of a Broken Hill sub-agent to a news agency in Mildura, meaning a courier is doing deliveries of the Herald Sun Monday to Friday. A decision is yet to be made about getting the Daily Telegraph.
My Herald Suns have gone up 50-60% in sales since I've gone through Mildura. I'm selling out every day, but it's sort of touch and feel as I go. I'm just going to try to get a feel how the sales go.
There'll also be an impact on weekend editions. They will be brought up from Adelaide a day late, arriving on Sunday and Monday respectively. News Corp was contacted for comment. Patrick Roinke, Southern Cross News.
Whyalla Council is holding a month-long survey to gauge visitor opinions on the city's offerings. The Mayor says it wants to know why people are visiting the area as they chase the tourism dollar.
Another day, another plane load of people jet into Whyalla. 7,500 people make the trip here each month, and Council is keen to find out why.
We get a lot of visitors every year. We want to know why they come, what they want to do while they're here, and what they enjoy while they're here.
Council will begin surveying people as they come in and out of town. The 2-page document asks people to rate their stay in Whyalla, along with the reasons for coming here.
Whether or not they're here for business, if they've, engaged in cafes, restaurants, their accommodation, that kind of thing.
Council is pushing to expand its market share in the tourism and the visitor economy as it attempts to diversify.
Are we making the best of this? Are we getting them to spend their money in our city and enjoying what we've got to offer?
The survey has been distributed at the airport and bus terminal, along with hotels, eateries and the visitor centre. They're asked to give council feedback to help ensure they visit again.
And we want them to enjoy their time while they're here so they stay longer and they come back and see us again.
John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
Still to come tonight, a TAFE program helping to get members of the local Indigenous community into employment. That's next. Indigenous students in Port Augusta have graduated from a unique TAFE program aimed at increasing their chances of employment. The program aligns its teaching to fit skill shortages in the mining industry, with the goal of employing more Indigenous workers.
It was 8 weeks of hard work. But now these students have a certificate to show the fruits of their labour. They're the result of a program developed after the industry noticed a need for Aboriginal workers on the Carrapateena mine.
So we developed an 8-week ready for work program which included units from hospitality, cleaning, white card, first aid.
What we want to see is the participation rate and percentage of Aboriginal workforce within the mining industry we want to raise.
Run by 3 partners, TAFE, Kakatha and Australia Camp Services, the program not only educates students on the skills required for the job, but also teaches them about managing their finances. It even helped all participants secure their driver's licence.
We also have a relationship with Red Cross, so people are able to build their 75 hours to gain their Ps.
This group of students is now the second group of graduates from the program, and they'll start on the Carrapateena site in the coming weeks, to the delight of organisers.
It's proven that if you have local people working in the local area, the retention rate is so much higher.
Although these graduates will be in positions like cooking and cleaning, there is always a chance to move up the ladder on site.
Of course, Carrapateena is so big, that's one aspect. People can certainly move on from there.
Just start off at the bottom and work my way up and see what else comes along.
Garth Burley, Southern Cross News.
Water New South Wales has released 2 flows into the Barwon-Darling river systems. The water operator says one was a naturally occurring flow, while the other was a planned environmental release.
A welcome flow of water with a wide-reaching effect.
Tremendous benefit to the environment of the Barwon-Darling system, but also to long-suffering landholders there who rely on the river for their stock and domestic supply and critical needs.
Water New South Wales says the natural flow came from central Queensland in March and is currently flowing through Wilcannia.
The second of those flows is an environmental release conducted by Water New South Wales on behalf of the New South Wales and Commonwealth governments. So it's a joint release from the Border Rivers and Copeton Dam.
That water is expected to reach Wilcannia next month, but it won't be available to everyone.
It will be accessible to landholders for stock and domestic supply, and of course those townships that rely on the Barwon-Darling for their town water supplies.
The state government is enforcing a pump restriction during the flows, which will stay in effect until mid-June. This ensures no unauthorised pumping will occur as the water comes down the system.
Applying to A, B and C class irrigation licences, meaning that this water can't be extracted for irrigation purposes.
There are also plans to construct block banks in the system. They will be installed at Pooncarie and near Wentworth as a safeguard in case the dry conditions continue and there are no flows into the Menindee Lake system.
They'll be to extend water security for landholders reliant on the Lower Darling to sustain their permanent plantings.
Patrick Royenke, Southern Cross News.
The Whyalla Art Group's annual autumn exhibition is open for another year, with residents encouraged to take a peek at the talents of locals. Seasonal colours dominate this year's work, along with a few newer pieces.
Autumn is a time of falling leaves and preparing for the cold winter months. It's also a time for Whyalla's art community to showcase its autumn exhibition at the Art Gallery. 50 paintings from local artists are on display.
We've got a lot of different artworks here, a lot of more modern things as well, and so we've all had a bit of fun doing those.
In keeping with the season, many paintings feature autumnal tones. Red, brown and gold dominate many of this year's entrants, reflecting what local artists can see from their window.
Just, well, you look outside and see how the leaves are falling, etc. So we go with those colours a lot of the times.
And there's a dash of a more unique, newer style. Many entrants, including Ms. Burt, have been experimenting with acrylic pour, which the art group has recently begun teaching.
And that's something quite different and the real craze at the moment.
Locals are being encouraged to come and see the works of some talented local individuals.
You don't do a painting in 5 minutes, and we'd love to talk to you about it and show you what we do.
The exhibition runs until the end of the month. John Hunt, Southern Cross News.
After the break, how a young Broken Hill footy export fared in his first AFL match over the weekend. That's next. Despite being dubbed South Australia's best harness racing competition, the Port Pirie Club will see a change from Friday night races to Sunday twilight. It follows a decline in revenue for the club. Management hopes the new event will encourage families to enjoy a night out at the races.
With the Sunday twilights, it is a 6-week trial period, and if it's successful, then there'll be many more Sunday meetings to follow on from that. If it's not successful, the HRSA will look at it and see which is the best avenue for us to follow.
It kicks off for the first time this Sunday with national broadcast coverage. Broken Hill's own Isaac Cumming performed admirably in his first game of AFL. Playing for the Greater Western Sydney Giants as a defender, Isaac recorded 14 disposals, took 3 marks and laid 2 tackles. The Giants couldn't get the win for the debutant, going down to West Coast by 25 points. GWS plays North Melbourne this weekend in Tasmania. To the weekend's sports results now. Garth Burley joins us for more, and Garth, some close contests in the netball.
That's right, Fraser. Well, as the temperature dropped to be much cooler weather over the last few weeks, the local sport is heating up, with many netball comps well into the first few weeks of their winter competitions. And last weekend there were some nail-biting contests across South Australia and regional New South Wales. In Port Augusta, 2 tight contests saw Railways continue their unbeaten start to the season against St Joseph's, and Vikings registered their first win for the season with a 5-goal win against Magpies. Moving to Lincoln, and the third round of matches gave teams a chance to prove their worth for the rest of the season, with 4 sides coming into the weekend with a win apiece. Imperial and Wanilla Rangers both recorded wins, while top of the table Wayback steamed home to win against United. In Whyalla, Kiwi are proving to be this year's team to beat, after winning their 5th game against Warriors. In the other match, True Blue moved up to 2nd place with a win over YCW. Callaloo Klinger was the star in this round of Port Pirie netball. Klinger helped her Celtics thrash Port, while only 2 points were the difference in a thriller between Central Risdon and Solomon Town. And in Broken Hill, Nabstars came away with another close victory, and bragging rights went to West Flames Red in their inter-club rivalry match against West Flames Black. And now for a change of serve. It's finals time in Broken Hill tennis, with forehands downing top spins to secure the first spot in the grand final. Top spins will get the second chance and take on backhands who beat Swallows 3 sets 24 games to 1 set 15 games. Though the A-League wrapped up last weekend, soccer fans still have plenty of local action to quench their thirst. Lincoln City Raiders maintained their perfect start to the season after man of the match Lane Pennington scored the winner with only minutes remaining. Lincoln Knights are yet to register a point after a heavy loss to Seacole Masters, which saw man of the match Hiraki Mori net 4 goals. In Whyalla, the Lions beat Westlands by 3 goals. And in the match between Wanderers and Croatia, the points were shared as Wanderers came back from 2 goals down to draw. And in Broken Hill, Celtic trounced West to win 5-2. And Alma survived a close contest with St Joe's to win by a goal. So obviously some close contests throughout the different sports and great viewing for spectators. Though it is starting to get a bit chilly outside, so it's best to rug up and turn up. And if you want your sports results featured on Southern Cross News, email sport@sca.com.au. Fraser?
Thanks, Garth. Stay with us. After the break, we'll have all the local weather details with Amy. And those cooler temperatures have settled in around the Gulf, Amy.
They sure have, Fraser, with maximums not going beyond 20 degrees in some parts. I'll have all the details next. Welcome back. As mentioned earlier, those cooler temperatures have settled in around most centres today. Port Augusta reached a top of 20, Whyalla and Port Lincoln were slightly cooler with some light showers. Taking a look at the satellite now, and skies are mostly clear across the state under a broad high pressure system. Cloud across the far south and southeast with a weak front may produce the odd light shower. If you're out on the waters tomorrow, southeasterly winds will be picking up to 15 knots while seas will reach 2 metres. The sun will rise at 7:04 with sunset at 5:27. Checking tomorrow's forecast, and another cool day is expected. Temperatures in Whyalla, Coffin Bay and Broken Hill will sit in the mid-teens, while Port Augusta and Port Pirie will reach 19 degrees. Port Lincoln can expect possible showers and a top of 18. As the weekend creeps up on us, the showers will hang around in Port Lincoln with temperatures rising to 20 later in the week. Patchy skies in Cleve and Woodner in the coming days with maximums in the high teens to low 20s over the weekend. Whyalla could see some showers before finding up on Saturday with a top of 19. Despite the cooler weather, Port Augusta will reach 20 over the weekend, while Kadina will be a few degrees cooler with the chance of rain on Saturday. Mostly sunny days predicted in Port Pirie over the coming days. However, Friday is set to see cloud increasing and a top of 19. Clare will only reach 14 on Thursday before temperatures sit in the mid-teens for the later end of the week. Meanwhile, sunny days in Broken Hill with tops of 17. So Fraser, although it will be sunny, I'm sure we'll all be getting our winter woolies out over the next few days.
Thanks, Amy. A look at tonight's top stories now. Towns across the Mid-North were lucky to host a very special guest today, the South Australian Governor, the Honourable Hugh van Lai. It's all part of a regional tour aimed at connecting with local industries and community organisations which play a vital role in the state's economy. Broken Hill news agencies say they've been forced to use interstate couriers to make sure they keep their newspapers arriving on time. It comes after a decision by News Corp to send 2 of its papers through Adelaide for a next day delivery. And Whyalla Council is holding a month-long survey to gauge visitor opinions on the city's offerings. The Mayor says it wants to know why people are visiting the area as they chase the tourism dollar. And that's the news to now. Thanks for your company. Enjoy your evening. Good night.